Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Thorns and today is my final lore breakdown / review of All or Nothing's story. Now there will be spoilers ahead, a veritable armada of them, so if you have not played through All or Nothing in its entirety, please stop watching now and jump into game because oh my goodness, it's one hell of a ride. But please do hurry back here because holy Dragon Balls, do we have some paradigm shifting lore to break down and an obscene amount of wild speculation by me at the end of the video. However, just a quick side note, this is my take on the story. I have no insider knowledge, I don't know the secret source, it's just me, my lore knowledge and an overactive imagination. So all my thoughts and ideas in relation to the future narrative are my own and will most likely be proven to be entirely inaccurate and utterly spurious. Spoiler warnings in place and expectations suitably tempered to subterranean levels. Let's jump into it. Resonance and the Crystal Dragon are the 4th and 5th story steps of All or Nothing. If you missed my lore breakdowns of the others, links in the top right hand corner of your screen to those now. Why, you may ask, have I decided to press these 2 steps into one video? Well, Resonance is teeny weeny. I'm actually not really sure why they didn't just roll it into the end of the Crystal Blooms, which in itself is diminutive in length. My pet peeve aside, Resonance begins with Forge Master Hylia.
New plan. We're luring Kralkatorrik here. We're going to pin him down and hit him with everything we have.
Here? But that could destroy the forge. Glint herself cast weapons in these halls.
I know, but Timey thinks dredge tech can amplify your crystals to really hurt him, even give us a shot at killing him. And if we succeed, it'll be because of the work done here. If we don't...
You make a fair point. I shall speak to your friend about her idea.
I think this brief exchange actually sets the stakes quite well and very subtly, because if we fail here, we don't lose a war, we lose everything. It is quite literally all or nothing. The keep won't matter, the resistance fighters won't matter, the history of the planet won't matter, because Kralkatorrik will have consumed everything, so there's a lot at stake. Now, the mention of Glint casting weapons in the forge makes me wonder, could this indicate a hidden store of Elder Dragon's Blood weapons? Now, perhaps Hylia is talking about the Dragon Blood Spear, the one we destroyed back in Act 2 of the Path of Fire, but when I think back to the scenes in Glint's lair, to my eyes, it looked like it was actually crafted inside her lair and not here in Thunderhead Keep. If there is a stash of Glint-crafted Dragon's Blood weapons somewhere, could this be part of our fallback plan if the conclusion of the Crystal Dragon is indeed as immutable as it would seem? I sincerely hope not, but it's an interesting chain of thought. Then again, this comment could simply be here to convey age of the keep and its precious historical nature. Again though, for me, it's less than 1,000 years old, and in historical terms, that's a moment. Even in the terms of Glint's lifespan, which is very long, it is a veritable heartbeat. And it's good to remember that she only passed away 25 years ago, so when was she crafting these spears? How old were they? More information is needed. Honestly, at this point I would give vital organs to get some flashback and cutscenes of Glint here, working with the dwarves and the Exalted and the Zephyrhites. Well, I mean, at least organs that I had 2 of anyway. Let me know if you think there is more to this little exchange than meets the eye. It's an interesting one to start on. Anyway, on with the narrative, and we head back to Varia for a little more dialogue with her.
Change of plans, Varya. We're going to lure Krakatorrik into the forge and kill him.
Into the forge? Commander, I said I'd help you and I meant it. But I can't ask my people to be a part of something like that.
I understand. You've suffered enough.
So, technology aside, the Dredge at this point have decided to bow after the battle. Their losses have been already substantial, and we are gracious about it. Although later in the story we will be happy to see this lady and her crew, but let's put a pin in that for the moment. We do engage in some interesting environmental gameplay, and I always welcome this kind of alternative activity, and ArenaNet are very good at employing it. Honestly, it's a nice change of pace to the macabre shopping lists that are quite common. Go murder 7 thistlegrub boars and bring back their left ear and their liver, and only the left ear will do. The right ear, that just won't cut it, and not all of them will have ears or livers. We've all had that quest. Anyway, once we've gathered the dishes, we are back to Hylia, and there's a lovely little exchange here.
Your sir and friends examine the dishes you collected from the dredge.
See? I'm fine!
I shall modify the crystals to their specifications. It's a fascinating concept and a daring plan.
Let's see if it works.
Taimi displays her great displeasure at being sidelined and mollycoddled. Her mind has always been her greatest asset, and it is sharp as it ever was. Now, I love ArenaNet for including non-traditional heroes in our journey through Tyria. Disabled people are horrifically underrepresented in all forms of public life, media, and entertainment. So, whatever fate has in store for Taimi, her place in gaming history is assured. Now, it may only be a little footnote, but it's vital and a step in the right direction, so hats off to them. And honestly, when you get down to the root of the matter, who is voting for social injustice? Anyway, once we speak to the Forge Master, this miniest of mini slices of story is done, and it's on to the main event. This is our second time inside this instance, but on this occasion it has been massively expanded, and it is now full of NPCs, conveying, at least to me, that we are one of an army of brave and honestly fearful souls fighting for Tyria and fighting for our lives.
Hear me, Cormyr. I call upon you with sincere heart and clear intention. Guide my aim to strike deep and true. Guide my shield to protect every ally at my side. Oh, Cormyr, fortify my spirit. Let me meet my end shining with your glorious light.
The dialogue between the NPCs is actually very poignant and breathes life into the moments before the battle.
All I can think about is dying before dawn. I can't do this.
Doliak could fall on you tomorrow, but that wouldn't help your family. Dying in battle might. You could live to be an old man, but if the cost was your little sister's lives, would you pay it?
No. You're right. I can do this.
Then we give our rousing speech.
Everyone listen up. We'd all love to have more time to prepare for this. We don't have that luxury. But the truth is, we don't need it. Krakatorrik seems invincible, but he himself had a vision, a prophecy, of a world without him. We have everything we need. He's hurting, half out of his mind. We're going to lure him right where we want him. And then we're going to make his vision a reality. Glint believed in us. I believe in you. Together, we're going to save the world and kill the Crystal Dragon. To your posts!
Attitudes aside, there really is a stillness, a quietness as we head into the great cavern. It feels almost like waiting patiently in line to be hit by a bus. Every NPC is staring out into the void, which will very soon be filled with a very large, very angry dragon. Well, his head at least.
How's she doing?
She's afraid, but she's ready to enter the mists and draw Krakatorrik here. I know. But you trust us, don't you?
A lot's hanging on this. It's a heavy weight to carry. And you and I are carrying it together. Scion and Champion, right?
This battle is a set piece. Staged, but not paced. So you can take your time, or you can run it as quickly as you want. And you cannot fail the mission. You can never fail missions in Guild Wars 2. I think it's down to personal preference whether you think this is a good thing or a bad thing. You can, however, fail achievements over course, and this is one of my accidental hobbies in-game, failing achievements.
We're not late, are we?
Saphira! Right on time!
Zaishan, to arms! Prophecies don't fulfill themselves!
Zafira returns with her Zaishan warriors to aid in our battle with Kraukatoric, which nicely closes off the story loop, which was left open at the end of Dragon's Blood. Mechanically speaking, the encounter is straightforward. We have been practicing these moves for the entire episode. Murder Brand, Charge Crystals, Ring the Bell, and the only new thing is smacking Kraukatoric upside the head, as Timey is the voice in your head telling you the score. I only wish, really, that there were more Dragon's Blood Spear barrels. It feels painfully slow, moving to them, moving back, you're getting caught up in combat. There is a sense of urgency when you're running this mission, which these trips to the barrel seemed to kind of belie. It felt very frustrating. I felt like I was walking through molasses. I couldn't break combat and get on my mount to speed things along. Let me know if you felt the same in the comments below. Now Keith is with you as you kite your way around from balcony to balcony, with Varia making an appearance, tunneling her way into the keep and allowing us to head to the final showdown. So even the reticent and skittish Dredge have risen to the occasion this day. And then, oh my goodness, this happens.
He's just leaving.
What happened?
I was confused at first, then a cold feeling started to spread in my chest. I got a bad feeling about this. And we have done this kind of slow walk before, when we were very, very unwell. Our character is hurt, but that's not why I have a bad feeling. And then we pass Zafira.
I don't understand. There was a vision. A promise that we'd win.
Oh, we know it's gonna be bad now. Oh no. And when I was playing through this at the time, my heart was in my mouth. I didn't want it to be true. And then...
Commander. Oh, spirits. We thought...
Where is she?
No! Aurene! No!
Keith. Your flowers.
She's gone.
What do we do now?
I don't know.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I cried. I was not a happy teddy bear after this. The mission ended, and I logged out I was not happy. It was a real gut punch, and it still is. There's still a tight feeling in my chest talking about it now. And the writers have done a terrible and wonderful thing. They have made a character we love. They have allowed us to take part in her birth and watch and guide her as she grows. We have seen her happy. We have seen her standing tall and brave. We have seen her fears. We have watched her grieve for her brother and her mother. And now we see her die for us. Kaith falls to her knees. Her crystal bloom shatters. And then the words, I don't know. The pain, the sadness, the anxiety, the confusion I feel and felt are testimony to the skills of the writing team, even with all the constraints of writing inside the straitjacket that is a game. I care about these characters. I care about Aurene. I lament her loss. But what's going to happen now? Well, how about we talk about what could happen now, at least some of the possible futures that I think fit within the confines of the world and the law. So, first things first, the world cannot really end. This is a Momopaga, a never-ending story. So, unless ArenaNet are shelving the game and planning on launching Guild Wars 3 very soon, very, very soon, then there is a narrative way forward through this quagmire. So, let's look at our options, and I would love you to vote in the comments which you think is the likeliest hypothesis, and do please share your own ideas as well. Now, some of these I have talked about before in previous breakdowns of All or Nothing, but for the sake of completeness, I'm going to share them all here so it's all in one place. So let the rampant speculation commence. Hypothesis 1. Aurene is not dead. She's just temporarily inconvenienced/impaired. Okay. What is the supporting evidence for my hypothesis? Exhibit 1.
There are things about ascension that can only be expressed between dragons.
There are things about ascension. Could those things about ascension that Glint whisked Aurene away to talk about, could that mean that she had to die to transcend her mortal form? Good writers do not have throwaway dialogue. If it's not needed, it's cut, especially in the time constraints of a story so restrained within the gaming environment. Therefore, I have to believe these words are here for a reason, and this sentence could be the pivot upon which the story twists and allows Aurene to return to us changed. Exhibit 2. The body of Glint. Now, you can see through the crystalline structure that honeycombs, that encases Glint, that she is in fact very similar to Aurene. You can see the glisten of her blue scales. The fact that she is suffused with crystal through her whole body, where Aurene is very much flesh and blood, is what I am envisaging is going to happen to Aurene in the ascension process, because in the Guild Wars universe, crystals are capable of holding oceans of power, great seas of it. Think back to the Bloodstones. So if Aurene is to act as a conduit for the primordial powers of Tyria, it is reasonable to assume that her form will have to alter. The death of the flesh could very well play a part in this process. If you think Aurene's death is part of her ascension, star emojis at the start of your comment. Okay. Second hypothesis. Aurene is not dead because Joko. Okay. So at the end of Long Live the Lich, Aurene chows down on the man jerky, which is Palawa Joko, the Immortal, thereby inheriting his power of resurrection. So what's the evidence that we have to support this idea? Exhibit 1. Joko is confirmed immortal because we killed him. The chap was toast, and then he very much wasn't. And he is only gone now because Aurene quite literally consumed him, ingested him, drank in his essence, and if that sounds a bit creepy, well, you're not wrong. But we have seen her consume magic before. It is part of her being. It's on autopilot. She did it in Taria when she was born, and her egg absorbed the power of Mordremoth. We saw it when Balthazar expired and she consumed a vast amount of his power. And if you think to our world, to the conventions in our world, the law of conservation of energy states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Energy can only be transferred or changed from one form to another. So, taking that to its logical conclusion, in this realm, whatever was in Joko that made him immortal is now in her. Joko, in a sense, much like Balthazar, is not necessarily dead. The essence, the power that was them has simply become part of Aurene. QED, she will resurrect. Exhibit 2 for the Joko theory is that Joko's death is referenced at the very beginning of the episode.
We were waiting for the signs. Glint's egg hatching, the Lich's death, and the sands of Glint's hourglass have begun to glow.
It was one of the 3 signs of the endgame time of the prophecy for which we have no clear knowledge, which is quite obviously playing out. He needed to die. She needed to eat him for the prophecy, again, whatever the hell it is, to be fulfilled. Now, they could be talking about Kraukatorik's prophecy. Glint could have had another prophecy. But regardless, writers, again, do not have throwaway dialogue. There is a reason it's there. There is a reason it's one of the first things that we heard as we started this episode. These words have weight. So if you think the because Joko hypothesis is your cup of tea, cake emoji plus praise Joko in the comments. Oh, there's going to be so many praise Jokos. Third hypothesis. Aurene is dead, but the pale tree saves the day. So this is my theory. I am not sure that anyone else has kind of thrown it out into the ether. Let me know in the comments if they have. I haven't read it anywhere else. This kind of plucked from my own brain. And I did talk about this idea in the Crystal Blooms as well last week. But I'm going to cover it here for anyone who didn't see that. Okay, so Kaith has joined with Aurene, and she is connected to her, and she can share thoughts and ideas and feelings, but Kaith is a firstborn Sylvari. Her connection to the Pale Tree is profound. The Pale Tree, who happens to be a dragon champion. As free and benevolent as she is still a being of immense power, and she is also connected deeply with Tyria and its balance. If you think back to those who played through the Scarlet Briar storyline, when Sierra stepped into Omad's machine to look upon the face of the eternal alchemy, it was the Pale Tree who tried to pull her back, tried to stop her, tried to save her from the terrible fate that she eventually suffered. So the Pale Tree understands the true nature of the world. So I would say, in that vein, it is not inconceivable that through Kaith, the Pale Tree could gain access to the power of Glint's scion and rise to face Krauka-Torik at her side. So what is my supporting evidence? Exhibit Kaith? It's thin. This is a slim chance, but yeah. I mean, Aurene are fond of their Deus Ex Machina endings on occasion. We've all seen them, we've all lamented them. And to be clear, I'm not advocating for this ending to Aurene's story. I want my dragon back. But at least I think it fits within the bounds and realms of the story universe and the laws within it. So, if you want to opt into the Pale Tree Saves the Day, flower emoji at the start of your comment. And the fourth hypothesis. Aurene is dead. But it was part of the plan all along, and the real battle will take place in the mist. Now this could be incorporated into other hypotheses about Aurene's fate, but here is the idea in a nutshell. Aurene was destined to die in battle with Kralkatorrik. She had countless visions of her end, and all roads led to Rome. All roads led to her demise. So she had to pass into the realm of the mists because she had to end him there in order to shield the world from the fallout of his death throes. Now, building on from that moment, once she defeats Kralkatorrik, her mother and brother at her side, Aurene, I think, will ascend and become a dragon god. And like the gods who exist in both Tyria and Offit in the mists, Aurene will be free to regulate the flow of energy from that proto-reality between worlds. Now, ascension may only happen to Aurene, but I think if this is how it's going to play out, I would not count out Glint and Vlast playing a vital role too, perhaps ascending with Aurene so that 3 good dragons replace the 3 corrupt ones slain by us. It's all very neat. If you like neat and you like the idea, cloud emojis in the comments below. Hypothesis number 5, or the 5th hypothesis. Hypothesis. We failed completely, but the human gods intercede. Okay, so this hypothesis is a bit out there, so bear with me. The mist connects all worlds, so Kralkatorrik does not just threaten Tyria anymore, but every reality, including the mist, the prime realm from which all realities have arisen and to which all realities are umbilical. So, Lissa, Dwayna, Gwenth, and Cormyr can no longer, in good conscience, stay out of the fray. The war has literally come to them, and in my mind, they step into the power vacuum that is left behind by Aurene's demise. So again, because Kralkatorrik is being battled in the mists themselves, the worst repercussions of a battle amongst gods can be mitigated from our poor battered world. So we join the fray in the mists and battle at the side of the gods, and hooray, we win the day, of course. But Aurene is still dead. However, she is reunited with her family and content to stay in the mists with them forever. So, what evidence do I have to support this mad hypothesis? Well, Cormyr, before she leaves, says that there are more worlds than ours that need her protection. So, if Kralkatorrik threatens all realms, surely the Mistwalkers are duty-bound to defend them. To walk away from one world, from Tyria, is understandable. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. However, that has changed, and in the past they have risen to even face their own when the cause was great enough. And I think the destruction of all realities qualifies as exceptional circumstance. So, angel emojis at the start of your comment if you want Dwayna to save the day. And we come to the final hypothesis. The Forgotten return to raise Aurene and get us halfway there to saving the day. So, here's the lore basis. Glint was purified of Kralkatorrik's corruption at the altar of Glost in the city of Ra by the Forgotten. As part of Glint's grand plan, the last Forgotten arrive at the keep and together with them, we head to Ura to cleanse Aurene and hope that Joko's magic is strong enough to bring her back from there. Now, yep, this is a Deus Ex Machina moment again, and I will grant you that, but I will point you to the lore that we have relating to the Forgotten in the Desert. And we have old lore from both the original franchise and Guild Wars 2 Vanilla to support the cleansing. So, together with Joko's power, this could be strong enough to at least get us back into the fray, if not save the day. Snake emojis in the comments if you think the Forgotten will come and help us save the day. Now, of course, I think it goes without saying that any and many of these ideas could be spun and merged and intertwined in the final outcome we will see, or they could go in an entirely different direction. Hopefully we'll find out in the next Living World installment, or maybe there really will be Guild Wars 3. Honestly, I don't know at this point. I want my dragon back. Okay, so let me know in the comments your hypothesis and your verdict on my hypothesis. These, thy, though, thumb. Anyway. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and please show some love to Melanie, Hain, Christopher Martin, Carb, Jolly Joe Star, Ada, Sir Azu, Dark Griever, and all my wondrous, fantabulous, brilliantest patrons without whom I would be unable to dedicate the time and resources I do to my channel, and I wouldn't be half as sane either. This is as sane as I get, so I can never thank them enough. I hope you will join me again for more Guild Wars 2 goodness very, very soon. There will be lots more on the channel, but until then, as always, thanks for watching. Devs, give me back my dragon, please.